This guide is going to be ugly, it's going to be scuffed, but by the end of it, you will know how Walking Wake works. So we are in a very unique scenario where a Pokemon that is competitively viable has been live added into the game, and we are trying to get the bits and pieces together, but it's not on Pokemon Showdown, so we kind of have to make this work somehow. So we do have the stats, we do have the moveset, we do know what the Pokemon looks like. Let's get into it. So a big thing about Walking Wake is the signature move Hydro Steam. Hydro Steam inflicts damage, and if used under harsh sunlight, its base power is increased to 120 and it is not affected by the sunlight. So this is actually a really cool theme competitively. We have a water Pokemon that thrives in sunlight instead of getting destroyed by it. Alright, what else do we got? Well, we have the Water Dragon typing, which fortunately already exists, so we can see, yeah, that's always been a really good typing. Weak to Dragon, and then weak to Fairy since Generation 6, and those are the only two things you have to worry about. You don't get a lot of resistances, but a 4x resistance to Fire and Water, pretty significant. Steel, also common. Everything else is neutral. So the Pokemon just kind of exists. And on the surface, when I first saw this, I went, wow, complete garbage. Like, this is a waste of 590 base stat total, especially when other Paradox Pokemon exist. Like, Fluttermane is allowed to have 135, 135, and survive a hit from special attacks. Iron Bundle's allowed to be 136, 124, and survive physical hits instead of just getting folded by everything. And then we get to Walking Wake, and it's a 109, 125. That feels like it got power crept several generations ago, but then you have to think about how this Pokemon works. It has photosynthesis because it's a Paradox Pokemon. And the Hydro Steam, even though I just have Hydro Vortex here, so I'm going to try not to trip that up. And Hydro Steam is made to be used under sun. So what this does is it frees up an item while giving you the booster energy boost. And then things get really weird and extra scuffed for this Pokemon. So I plugged in the stats to damage calculator. That way we at least have something to look at. We can see what the stats do. And 125, 109 timid, maxed out, same exact stats. Now, for those of you who haven't fumbled around with this inside the game, Boost Energy works like Beast Boost in that it takes priority just in attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, order. So speed being last means that if you Boost Energy a Timid Nature one, you have the 109, and then you get the 30% to your special attack and have the effective Life Orb on that Boost Energy. Or if you're running this without a Boost Energy and then it comes in Sun, you're going to have the 109 on the speed still, and then your special attack gets boosted. So what you want to do is you want to go 244 EVs. That way you actually just cut that point. Now you effectively have a choice scarf that lets you choose moves, so the +1 on the speed, and then you can just run something like a choice specs, and now the damage starts to come together. The numbers start to make sense, especially because you're going to be getting a stab water type move with 120 base power into a Life Orb or specs. Like, you can also run Life Orb if you want to keep the ability to change your moves. And then you just have, like, craziness now. You can also go Terra Water, and you're going to be obliterating things. So I pulled up, like, the Galarian Articuno just because it's a kind of similar Pokemon and also has weird interactions. When I was first thinking about Walking Wake, I was like, oh, what about the Modest Nature? Modest Speed Ties 95. That isn't really a viable or meaningful speed tier situation, but it's like if you want to get that extra damage out of the special attack, you really want to go all in on booster energy or something, or really play into the photosynthesis hydro pump. That's an idea, but because you're going to be making the strategy revolving around sun and all of that, I think Timid is just going to be the best way of doing it. That way, you get your +1 speed. Now you're super crazy on that 109, and Scarf Chomp is going to be like one of the few things that get you. Rarely do Pokemon like Scarf over that. I mean, it's not Generation 8, so it's not like we're going to see a Scarf Cinderace to respond to the max airstreams anymore. So yeah, you're just going to be faster than everything except for speed boosting like Boost Energy, Iron Bundle, and Fluttermane. So that's kind of the only places where it gets a little weird. And then again, you're still rocking crazy amounts of damage because Galarian Articuno, being a 90 hit point, 100 special defense legendary Pokemon, doing this much damage to it means you're going to be crushing a lot of other Pokemon. Also, we can see like a little bit of weirdness, you know, 99 hit points, 91 defense, 83 special defense. We survive. It's kind of like a we live in, and we're on that upper end of bulk, so closer to a Savali damage calc, which means if a Pokemon doesn't quite get there on the one-shots, you're a 2-hit KO Pokemon. That's what this bulk means. This bulk means is you are reliably a 2-hit KO Pokemon. Galarian Articuno with Timid, just going to do like 50%, so 125 stab, 90 base power move is going to struggle to get you unless it's like the ultimate super boosting with like choice specs and terastallization and stab 125. So it just kind of shows like, yeah, we survive things and then we throw a pretty solid hit back. Now, looking at the damage into normal Pokemon, yeah, like, you get the Beast Boost, because, like, this is all assuming you already have Sun, so it's not a completely neutral game state, but it is where this Pokemon thrives. Like, if you get the Sun out there, and then you one-shot the entire opponent's team, we are playing in those cheese realms that end up working. I didn't think Houndstone was going to be the best team possible, like, Sand Houndstone Revival Blessing was going to be, like, the best team ever in 3v3 Battle Stadium, but it turned out to be that way. So some Pokemon, even if you give an ungodly amount of support into it, it can just be strong enough to win. And I'm going to try to fish for that with the Walking Wake. So you get your Sun out, you're doing your thing, you got your free speed because it's your highest stat on that photosynthesis, and then Life Orb gives you the ability to kind of like switch around. So we can see that a Meowscarada durable, like a similar Pokemon that has like 76, 70, 75, 75, whatever, just gets one-shot by the Hydro Steam. And if you're Terastallized, which I think you want to go Water Terra, that way you just get like the uber super crazy Mondo damage on anything that needs it. Yeah, you're just kind of obliterating it, but then you also have other coverage options. You have Flamethrower on this thing, and the Flamethrower effectively becomes Stab, so it's like a triple Stab Pokemon, which means I guess you could like Terra into a Terra Blast and have a quad Stab Pokemon, and that would probably be fine, especially if like your coverage is right for the meta. So maybe, you know, if Hydro Pump isn't the neutral one-hit KO, you're just going to find the super effective hit anyways. Can also go for the Draco Meteor. So Draco Meteor, finding Stab, finding lots of damage. That's why I like the Life Orb over the choice specs, even though it feels like you want as much damage as possible, just kind of run everything over and really push that 125 special attack. You don't need it. Your base powers are so high, everything is synergizing so much, you are going to be alright. And yeah, the power just kind of gets crazy. So now that we got all of those interactions out of the way, we can kind of bring it back to something a bit more visually appealing. I know that the audience retention just kind of craters when people see the damage calc, but that's like, this is the most important part of the guide. Why are you guys skipping it? Because that's how you know the matchups, that's how you actually make the Pokemon work and figure out how to actually survive when in battle. And then these things right here actually mean something. So yeah, you run it like that. There's your Life Orb, there's your Photosynthesis, there's your speed, whatever. And then like it just gets Snarl, but that's kind of like weird tech stuff. However, it could work. If you're about to go down, you Snarl something on special attack, you bring in a Pokemon, let you soft set up, get the Revenge KO, and then sweep from there. It's happened. Like, the single Snarl can be nasty into certain setups and certain Pokemon. Or, like I said, this is where you go Terra Blast. Pokemon DB it is. Now, my first gut instinct was you go Terra Electric, and this is probably some of the highest coverage in the entire game. And that's correct. Like, you compare it to anything else, not even close. That 799 super effective means you're pretty much finding anything, even splashing in ground. Normally when you go Terra Ground or put the Earth Power in, that's going to be crazy for the coverage. No, you put Terra Electric into this, and it is outrageous. So Terra Blast, Terra Electric on all of this fun stuff, and then, yeah, fine. That works too. Because, again, now you're finding so many super effective hits, you don't have to rely on the neutral Hydro Vortex one-shot, and you are a 109 speed Timid Pokemon that's +1, which means you're outspeeding everything, so that doesn't matter. And then it's just obliteration. There you go. And then, like, the Flamethrower is going to have the Sun, because that's kind of our strat. Draco Meteor to big finish off, Terra Blast for that coverage, and then Hydro Steam is just the dunk on that 120, and it doesn't care about the Sun. So the first quad stab Pokemon. That's kind of neat. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.